So we'll give it just a moment for the people to come in, get their audio connected, and we'll be ready to go. I'm going to take a peek at the attendee list and see if I recognize names already. Oh, I'm actually recognizing some names from the community. Very nice. All right, we've got a good quorum already coming in, but let's give it another minute or so for their audios to connect. I think we should have good audio connections. The recording is happening, so I would say that I should take a moment to welcome our two guest speakers here. I'm really excited for this topic. I was actually just geeking out fanboy-wise a few minutes before we opened the doors here. Personal favorite topic of mine, AI and ML and NLP and all of the other acronyms that are associated with it. Exciting topic for me. I'm really glad that you guys were both able to take the time. Fei, thank you so much for joining us to talk about SAP and what we're doing in the space. And you're also joined by Simona, who's going to actually share a couple of live demos. So we're really excited about this. It is a great opportunity for all of you here in the community to hear more about what SAP is doing in the space. You've heard some from SAP TechEd back in December. They've not been sitting idle. They've been doing a lot since then. There is more coming. So it is a really exciting time and topic for all of us here at SAP. So we're excited to have you both on the call. Welcome, Fei. How are you today, and how are you doing with all the stuff that's going on right now? I mean, there's so many things happening.
Thank you, Greg. And it's a big pleasure for me today with Simona together, share with our AI community, our AI strategy update. It's a big pleasure to share with our progresses and our strategy and our operation model. And looking forward also to our exchange and brainstorming together in QAs.
All right. And many of you saw Fei at TechEd, so she is familiar to you already, but we're also joined by Simona. Simona, please tell us a little bit about yourself, and welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thanks for inviting me. It's actually a great pleasure to join Fei and you, Craig, here, because that is an exciting topic and I'm never enough of speaking about it. Just a couple of words about me. I'm the head of the Intelligent Processes for the SME area, being part of the product management team. And I would like to share with you, I mean, Fei will explain to you about the AI strategy and the technology in SAP, and then I will complete that picture showing how actually we are using that in our old-fashioned ERP boring business, taking part those exactly the most boring part that nobody wants to do, and actually letting the end user and the business to focus actually on creativity and having more time on investing in what is really important for their business. And that will be a part of the demos and what we will discuss today. So yeah, looking forward to discuss with you, and especially looking forward for your questions a bit later.
All right, fantastic. So folks, the Q&A is already open. You are welcome to already start putting your questions in. We have got questions actually already in advance through social media from individuals who weren't going to be able to join the call, but they've already submitted questions. So if you see me hunting in different places, I've got questions over here, I've got questions over here. That's what's going on. We will try to get to as many questions as we can, but we will also follow up in the community with a blog post for any questions that we didn't get to, as well as the replay that will be available after the words. So if you come in after a few minutes and you missed the very beginning, or if you have to duck out a few minutes early, you can catch the replay. That will be available shortly after the call, usually within 24 to 48 hours, we get that uploaded and put online. But without further ado, Fei, I would love to turn it over to you. I know you have a few things to share with us, a few updates and everything like that. Folks, get your questions ready and start asking, and we will get to them as fast as we can. So Fei, it is all yours.
Thank you, Greg, and hi, everyone. It's a big pleasure, as I mentioned, to share with you about our artificial intelligence strategy update. Today, I'm going to, like I mentioned, talk about SAP's AI strategy, injecting AI into our business processes. And Simona will describe the intelligent enterprise for SMEs, how SMEs use AI, what kind of contributions of AI make, as Simona mentioned, the boring things more intelligent and more interesting. And then we're looking forward to your questions and try to answering your questions, have inspirations and exciting discussions. Now let me share with you our SAP's AI strategy. At first, I want to share with you and talk about the market overview of enterprise AI, right? AI in enterprise context. If you look at the market segments in enterprise AI, we can simplify into 3 groups: AI platforms, applications embedded AI, and platform embedded AI. Let me describe you what is AI platforms. AI platforms means companies which provide AI platforms enable companies, customers to create AI applications. This market segment, who are strong, very strong, we know Google, Microsoft, Baidu, these companies are very strong in AI platforms. But in comparison to applications embedded AI, this market is relatively small, with only 18 billion market size. And applications embedded AI means infuse AI technologies into existing applications, in particular enterprise applications, make it intelligent. And this market size is very big. This will be the focus of our SAP. And the platform embedded AIs means use AI technology, make existing platforms more intelligent. And we, SAP, we are in a very unique position. We are very self-confident and optimistic to become the leading vendor with AI embedded applications across all relevant line of business, including finance, travel, and supply chain, human resource, all these kind of relevant business areas for business processes and operations. Let us look at the applications embedded AI, this market segment. And now let me start with the beginning, right? 2019. And the intelligent applications in 2019 was only 36%. And 2024, almost 60% of all applications will be intelligence. This means from the 227 billion, 6% will belong to the artificial intelligence market, right? 136 billion, this is a big market size. And we want to make it very successful and want to be the leading company in this area. And what does it mean? How can we make it happen, right? This means all the product in SAP will become intelligent where it can need, right? Therefore, the AI strategy will be enabled, the product strategy will be part of the AI strategy. And of course, without data strategy, neither the AI strategy nor the product strategy can be successful. If we look at our product strategy, right, we have our business networks, industry cloud, business process intelligence, and also sustainability management. It's very important for our planet, for our humankind now. And with one domain model, industry domain model, and sustainability model, we, together with the data strategy, right, with how to store the data, how to process data, how can we make the usage of the data in compliant way with the global terms and conditions, what does the data lake look like for the AI, right? Structured data, unstructured data, how to link the data together. And given this, our AI strategy can build on top of the data, the tools and the models. And in our AI factory, we can produce AI applications, infuse AI technology wide operation processes. And I think several years ago, enterprise AI are only some innovative projects, right? Some successful projects. But now we want to make AI into every applications where it needed. It means we need an AI factory. What does AI factory of AI application means? It means in this factory, we want to ensure the performance and quality KPIs of our applications, and also measure which kind of contribution of our intelligent applications to our customers, right? Cost efficiency, cost saving, efficiency improvement, better human-machine interaction. And this also Simona want to share with you, how can contribute to the intelligent decision making. And in the factory, we want to make it more efficient, the collaboration with the core AI technologies and also the domain experts, right? Because the AI technology must adapt to the context and embed it in the total process, right? Make it useful. On top of the unified lifecycle management operations, we are able to use efficiently the AI assets and avoid the duplication of the efforts. Since we know SAP is a big company, we have a lot of teams, units. We want to make sure we use the best technology for best applications. And now, in order to make it happen, right, we have a holistic approach to putting AI into production. In the central is the AI factory, as I mentioned. And of course, AI factory, if we want to make the commercialization of our application successful, we need to work with supporting functions and also our ecosystem. Let me start with the AI factory. How does the operation model and the collaboration model look like in the AI factory? AI factory has two big parts. The central part providing technologies and platform, which we talk about AI foundation. AI foundation provides life cycle management, and in order to make training, inferencing, offering the AI functions possible. And in addition, we also continuously develop AI functions, reusable technologies, and data assets in order to infuse the LOB's line of business with intelligent assets and also high quality technologies. And this kind of collaboration, on the one hand, the requirements from the context, from the application, infuse the technologies. If we have a very cool applications ready, we can make the reusable technology into the core AI factory, AI functions into our content again. Of course, this technology production must work with legal compliance security. And also we need talents, right? The workforce is very important part. And make an AI application in a production mode, we need also teamwork, not only data scientists. We need also AI application experts, UI experts, right? And if without a successful commercialization model, we cannot give our applications fluently to our customers. Furthermore, partners are very, very important. And we are not going to build every data set, every technology ourselves, right? Therefore, in the ecosystem, the data suppliers and the AI technology suppliers are very important. Furthermore, we know, as Craig mentioned, that we have a lot of fans in AI, right? You know that the AI technology develops so fast, right? Often 6 months, the technology is not valid anymore. Therefore, we have to work with research and the academic community very closely in order to catch up the newest trend and also get the talents, right, from the university academic world. Now I want to share with you the scalable working model for building AI applications. And Simona will share with you also the demo. This is the results of this working model. Our AI application start with the ideation, right? The domain experts will work with the technology experts on the use case identification based on the common domain and AI expertise. And then we validate whether there are assets available, whether it's feasible. And then we build POCs and also components, develop AI functions. The productization is a challenge, right? How to integrate AI functions into the business process and make the operation embed the AI functions for customers, deliver it to the customers, right? And also continuous improvement. The more customer we have, the more data we have. And then also the challenge, how can we improve, optimize, make this whole iterative development efficient and successful? As I mentioned, right, building AI application is a teamwork. Which kind of job profiles we need? We need a product program manager, we need a data scientist, we need a data engineer, we need a UI, UX engineer, AI engineer, and a solution manager, and DevOps engineering in order to make the operations successful. And now I hand over to Simona. Simona, show you SMEs use our AI factory working model, make it successful.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's go to the presentation. I will try to keep it short, because I think the most important part will be actually the demo and showing you already what we have done. But trying to put a bit of context here. I hope you like my little Pinocchio robot here, because it's saying very well the story that we have behind. I mean, as you may remember, Pinocchio was a very nice puppet fulfilling its purpose, which was really perfect as it was. However, it had this dream of becoming something more, of evolving, of becoming a real thing. Yeah, and that is actually what's happening by bringing in, or that is the dream of enterprise, intelligent enterprise, and the way how we are adapting there. What exactly means is we have there three, at least in the SME, three main areas where we focus in steps. The first step is the Pinocchio is starting to move the hands, yeah, and start to do things by itself. And that is what we name intelligent automation. This is a mix of AI business services, either embedded in the framework, with the workflows that we have, or with the help of robotic process automation, the other product that we have, the intelligent RPA. And this one, the purpose of this, at least in the SME, the first wave that is there, is the intelligent business document processing. And I will explain you a bit later about that. But the idea is to have a kind of hands-free system. Then the second step will be to add a bit of thinking, to have the possibility of taking decision, at least for the boring and repetitive part of the decision. So the manager and the user, they can focus on management and decision making by exception. What that means is we can use predictive analytics. We can use actually the power of the PAL library, which already have like 90-something ML algorithm embedded in the HANA database, and bring them in the user interface. I will explain you also about that a bit later. And the last step, that will be probably the last one in the flow that will go for it, either if we'll do some small steps in the meantime, is next generation user experience. Obvious, the people will not like to interact through clicking. The next generation user experiences via chatbots, via voice, via intelligent search, and so on. So that is also where we will look into future. Can we move to the next slide, please? So this one is not really a roadmap. It's more like I put here a key message, either if we are working on part of these topics. Yeah. So please do not take them as commitment. However, that are the main direction and the topics that we identify based on the input from our customers of being of particular interest for our SME customers. The first part is what I told you, that the yellow part is the intelligent business process documents with two different pillars. The one pillar is the embedded AI scenario, where we are using the AI business services, especially the docs, but not only, so the document information extraction is what we name short on docs. You know that in SAP we love abbreviations, yeah. And then we have also other like document classification and other AI services that you can find also on SAP Help. It's a nice list and with videos on them. So what we are doing is the dream that I have for the by design is that this will be a hands-free document processing ERP. Yeah. Again, it's not a work that any end user loves to do it. You know, waking up in the morning, finding an email full of documents and saying, wow, I love now to start typing in my ERP of choice the documents that I receive via emails. And what if we'll use the power of the AI to recognize, to identify and recognize and classify all this information and prepare draft of such documents in the system for you. The second part, as I told you, is the predictive analytics. The nice thing is we already have it in HANA. So right now, if you are using HANA version 2.0 or higher than that, you will see that the PAL library is already there. That obviously is not of enough business value if it's not in your ERP, if it's not in the place where you are doing business. And that is what we are hoping to bring to our by design customer of making it available to them. Not the last is, as I told you, the next generation UI. We will start probably with something small like frequent asked question and support, bringing everything in a nice user experience. And in future, why not, trying to add either more interaction via this new mechanism, including some business scenario. So I think that is just, oops, sorry. Sorry, I forgot to turn off my my mobile in there. Let's move now to the demo. So let me tell me when you can see my screen, please.
And it is starting to do the screen sharing now.
Okay.
And
are you seeing the presentation or still the picture?
Right now, I still see the message that the screen sharing is starting.
Okay.
I'll give it a couple of seconds here. Maybe an indication from the chat if everybody else is seeing the screen. Could just be my my browser, my connection. So not yet, it seems.
Okay. Seems
might want to stop and restart, maybe.
Yes.
And folks, while she's starting and restopping her screen sharing, the questions are already flying into the chat. We're trying to answer some of them that are more direct questions or logistical questions. We're trying to answer those as we speak, and we have experts that are in the background also typing. But we will be getting to these other questions here on the call live. So if you do have additional questions, feel free to ask them now. Some really interesting ones that are popping in. So I look forward to seeing more from all of you. All right, Simona, I'm still not seeing it still says sharing, but nothing's available yet.
I'm sorry, something technical happened because I was just kicked out. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm very sorry for this. Let me one more time try to share my screen.
No problem at all. I think at this stage of the way the world is, I think we're all used to technical difficulties with online sharing and video calls and conferences, so completely understood.
Is that working right now? For me,
it looks like we see Fei's screen now.
Okay.
It's so, Simona's screen. Simona changed to my name now.
Oh.
But I think
I see that. So Simona is back, again, but she's back as Fei.
I took over your name. I really like your name, by the way.
I'm sure there is a Skynet joke in here somewhere.
Are you able to see my screen right now?
Yes, we are. We see your screen and we see your name again. So we're all good to go.
Okay. And can you also see the SAP Business by Design Intelligent Invoice Scanning title in there, right?
Correct. And your mouse is moving.
Okay. So let's start. Sorry for the delay. The first demo I want to show to you is the intelligent invoice scanning that we implemented in by design, and it's available already since August. So this one, it's using the AI business services, the document information extraction in there, but it's fully integrated in by design in the way how you see here, and I will show you in the demo the way how we are using. Obvious, the benefit is pretty simple and very consistent. 10 minutes to 15 minutes, putting in the system manually every single document that is coming via email. Obvious is not something fun and not something that company want to do. Either the small enterprises, they have like about 1,000 invoices in there. So per month, half of them being manual process. So a lot of value, a lot of time saving for them. So in this particular situation, putting the power of AI really to work and to help us is of tremendous help. Now we are going in the supplier invoice, and here we are going on the invoice scanning section. And I have two particular scenarios. There are three in general. The first thing is obviously synchronize master data. What that means is it's using the data enhancement functionality of the document information extraction, which we are providing all the information about all these data that we have in the system, so the matching will be easier. The next step here, because we already did in advance, is that we are loading the information. We are loading the PDF. They can also be images. It's working with both of them. In this case is the one by one. I have multiple scenarios. We are setting up the company for which we are uploading this, so the company code. And then we are browsing. We will go in invoice. Obvious, we also have the bulk upload. You can imagine. I will demo that to you immediately. So now we upload it, we start the process. When you press the button start process, what it's doing is actually connecting and triggering the push of the document to the document information extraction service. And that is transparent. I mean, the user does not know that it's using other service, AI service or any other technology. Now that one, what I show to you, we will go to a bulk upload. So we are able to use SAP collaboration window. We are setting up a predefined folder, and that one is already set. And I will show you immediately how automatically it's triggered out from this particular folder. So just let's move on the folder here. You see, so I'm not doing anything. It's just because I set up the folder. It's just reading bulk all of those one. You press the refresh and you will see all the invoices in there. Obviously, you can either use a robot to do that download for you. So you will really, during the night, everything is done automatic, hands-free. So when you wake up in the morning, actually, you only need to come here and review. You press the review button and you'll have a side-by-side screen. You have the scan value, you have the review value, you see the invoice, you have the line item. For example, in this particular case, I'm looking and I'm seeing that the supplier, for example, was not properly scanned. It was not identified in there, right? So you see that, so the date is okay. There is the IMS. Let's put in the name. Another thing you may see here is like the order ID. It was properly scanned. However, it was not identified in our system. So somehow it was not created. Maybe it's from the customer as it's coming. So right now it's deleted. So it's removed automatic to make the life easier for our user. So now we are more or less ready with the review. As you see, it's really very small. Either if it's not 100% accurate, it's a quite very small amount of work. Create invoice. And now we are moving to the standard by design screen of create of a new invoice. Of course, we can add additional information. We can further review information that are not on the invoice. So for example, we have somewhere a bit down the GL account. Yeah, so there are information that you cannot scan from the invoice. You are enhancing and you submit, but that is the normal process that you have in the system. So I think this was the first scenario that I wanted to show, but I have one more. And this one is the mobile intelligent expense reporting, which is a bit of the same scenario, but this time is with a mobile app. So it's not only for the desktop, it's also for mobile app. Here is the mobile app for by design. So you log in the application. We have multiple tiles here, obvious, but the one that I want to show to you is the expense reporting. So what we did here is we're using the OCR, the business OCR from the service and some ML services from Concur. And the purpose is we already created a travel report here. I have some of the attachment. Now I want to take a photo from my taxi. So my taxi receipt is here. It's from Kuala Lumpur, as you will see. I take a picture of this. In the moment when this is done, I can use the photo or retake, obvious, that is the standard functionality. And now it's there. I can press now the extract button. At the moment when I press the extract button, it will send this image to the AI service, first to the OCR and after that to the ML service to extract the information from it. That is what's happening right now. Obviously, it's taking a bit of time, but you see it's pretty fast. So what we have here is the extraction information. That was a taxi, this was the date, the amount, you see the currency, it's already there. You can either further enhance this one. For example, we can put a cost center assignment. Let's say in this case, what should I put? Maybe finance. Let's choose the finance. I love to put the money on finance. Yeah. So now this one is ready. I have the attachment. I can verify. I can zoom in. Just let's zoom in. You see, it's the currency is right. The 72.80 cents is right. Of course, if it was not, we can have them. But it's pretty simple. So you see, there are only the boring things. Nobody is stealing the job of anybody. And because I'm sure that all of you had this particular situation in your life where you have so many receipts from your travel. So yeah, that are the type of scenario that we already implemented and launching, and there are far more than that there will come. So I hope you find this as excited. You see, I never stop being excited about boring things, and especially when I can take those boring things from you. So let the excitement of your job to you. So thanks a lot for this. Waiting for your question now.
And there are several questions coming in, and we will jump to those in just a moment. But I actually honestly just have to say the first demo reminded me painfully of what I had to do when I was in college and one of my first jobs, because I was the one taking all of those invoices and doing all the typing, and I would spend hours doing that. And that looks like it would have just been an amazing way to just review them instead. And then, of course, at the end, what my life turned into was doing the same thing again for me personally because of all my travels. So I never got away from it. So I do see them as boring, but the demo is fantastic. That is really cool stuff. Thank you so much. Fei, I'd like to turn it back to you now.
Thank you, Greg. Simona, thank you. Very exciting to make the boring life more interesting, right? This is our AI, artificial intelligence really contribute to, right? I want to share with you 3 key takeaways, very simple. As you see that Simona showed you, SAP, we are injecting AI into business process, right? In a scalable way with our operation model, AI Factory. And therefore our AI Factory collaboration model covers all steps from ideation to continuous development. As you see also, if something wrong with the invoice, perhaps our users can do the correction, and we can do continuous improvement, right? The retraining. And therefore, AI is for all enterprises relevant, right? It's not a dream and science fiction anymore. It's part of our life. Change our life, make our life much easier. Thank you.
Absolutely fantastic. There are, like I said, there are already questions coming in. We've been able to answer a couple of them in the background, but I wanted to go ahead and double check here, see if we had any more on the social media side came in. There are 1 or 2 there as well. So what I would love to do is let's go ahead and start here, and I'll just go to the top of the list. This one is a nice demo. The first question, it says, nice demo. Thank you very much. Are these features also available for SAP Business One?
A very good question. I think that is for me because it seems that we also have some funds from the SME here. In SME, we have two particular products, by design and business one. Well, also business one, it's applicable. So the first thing is the invoice scanning service will be integrated. I think limited availability, a product limited availability was already released in TIS 2102, if I'm not wrong, on the B1. The only problem is for business one, that is an on-prem solution. So obvious, we are providing for free the integration. However, the service being a cloud AI service, it's at extra cost and separate license. But to answer to that question, yes, it's available. The invoice scanning for the travel expenses one is not yet there. We are working, however, to add more services also on B1. I think the next one that I have seen on the roadmap is on the business card scanning for the lead creation and contact creation. That will be probably the second one. And in future, some more are to come. So obvious, the roadmap are a bit different, but also business one is targeting this idea of hands-free ERP processing strategy that we have in SAP.
Right, thank you very much. All right, then let me see here. I think this is one, and maybe just a quick clarification, Simona, this came in just a few minutes ago while you were talking. Is this invoice and transformation of purchase order?
I mean, we right now in by design is not there and not also in business one. However, the AI business services also have, and or they will have soon the purchase order. I mean, Fei Yu, maybe you help me here because it's actually on your service. But while testing for my service, I have seen that the model of purchase order scanning was somehow available, I think, under beta. Or can you support that?
And I want to add, and perhaps Sean can also help me. In purchase order, we will be part. The invoice scanning will contribute also the purchase order, definitely. Right? Yeah, it is very logic reasonable, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's already live or if it's only beta, because for sure I have seen it, but I don't know the exact productive or release status that this service has.
And this I have to check also with AI business service team.
We did release the doc service natively in S/4HANA Cloud now for sales order extraction as well. So this was in the latest release because the documents have quite a similar format to them. Yep.
I mean,
thank you,
just to complete, is the purchase order scanning is for sales order creation. So the scenario is you are receiving from the email a purchase order from your customer, and instead of creating manually a sales order in the system, you are sending to the doc services, which is extracting the purchase order and create a sales order for you. And that is, I think, right, because I have seen it on my colleagues from S/4HANA that they implemented, and they say, yeah, that will be the next object I want to implement in by design. But we didn't start it yet, so I don't promise for it at this point in time.
All right. And the next question here, I think, would maybe be towards Fei as well. Is there a view on distributing AI, pushing AI to edge with concepts such as federated machine learning?
Let me put this way, right? Because I guess Nicholas, you are also you know about the smart manufacturing machine vision scenarios, right? You put computer vision in order for detecting the defects or the abnormal in the productions. In this case, the edge will be the cameras, put computer vision model. This is and as I mentioned in our AI strategy, right? We also work with our ecosystem. With hardware providers and also software providers in order for the smart manufacturing, machine vision, the edge solution is important, definitely. Also federated learning in order to make the still this is still in the research area, and how can make the data distributed, and also we can merge the models together. This is also one of the topics we are considered as very important. But these are actually two topics.
All right. And there were a couple of questions that were answered, written Q&A answers, but I'm not sure if everybody saw those as well. We will be following up in the SAP community with a follow-up connected to the recording of the call with the questions that were asked and the answers that were provided and everything like that. So if you happen to have missed your answer being read out or spoken, don't worry, you will be able to get to it in the SAP community. There is already topic pages and tags and content available in the SAP community for this. And this is one of our top 2021 priority topics. So we're really excited to be working with the team as well. So you'll see more and more coming to the SAP community from that perspective. There is one more question that just popped into the Q&A here. Invoice analysis. Will the solution recognize fields on invoices on which it hasn't been trained on before? If not, how many data examples are needed to enhance the model to recognize the new invoice style? And I'll throw that out to either one of you.
Well, I mean, that is more for the AI team, but what I know right now, at least in SME, we are using the pre-train. So if we have a quite extensive list of fields from what we can choose, I think there are almost about 20. In SME, we are only selecting to use 10 of them, 7 for header and 3 for the line items. I doubt that we can add new fields or that the end user can add new fields. I don't think, at least at this moment, and Fei, please help me here, if you have something that the customer can train it. I do not use it. I only use in my application the pre-train one. So please comment here if that is possible in the standard application.
Simona, thank you very much. Gino, I see you are expert, right? It's an excellent question, right? This is talk about, right? Given the data we have some pre-trained model, but our reality is very dynamic and diverse. How can we adapt our pre-trained model to the reality? We are working on also, I think the AI is not only you train once and then finish, right? As I mentioned, that the working model, continuous improvement. This means we need a transfer learning. Based on the pre-trained model, we can use additional data and also even the active learning, right? If we do something wrong and the user feedback can be used for the retraining, right? And this is the innovation we are working on. Gino, you mentioned the topics where our teams are working on now. It's very needed, right? Not only for the invoice extraction, also for all the tasks, challenges, right? Yeah.
I can support you here and tell, not for adding new fields, but retraining the existing value with the correction from the user. This is actually a co-innovation we are working together with your team. So by design and the AI business services.
Definitely.
For the invoice scanning. So at the moment when the customer you have seen in my demo, the supplier was missed, then we are annotating. So the user anyway is doing that. So it's not any added effort for the user because anyway we'll correct it. But after that, we are working that we are sending that information back. However, that does not mean we are adding new fields, but it's just making more performant these existing fields. At the current point, after 6 months of using these, we have about 200 customers adopting and about 25,000 documents scanned per month, and the average accuracy for all of this, comparing, the correction from the customer, from the correction of the end user with the scan value, it's already like 87%, higher on the line item, a bit lower on the headers, but altogether that will means if you have 100 invoices, 87 of them, they will be, let's say, perfectly scanned and put in the system, which is already outstanding with a pre-trained model. But obviously, we want to raise this accuracy either higher by this possibility of retraining.
Yeah, totally agree with you. Retraining and active learning, transfer learning all belong to how to adapt to the new data, new situation, improve the model, right? This is a never-end. Machine learning should be never-end learning, right? Yeah.
And I'll just add that artificial intelligence has its own tag in the SAP Roadmap Explorer. So you can go in and find, for example, for document information extraction, we will offer custom field support template-based extraction, so customers can add their own fields, and retrain should be coming out in Q2, along with things like enhanced model retraining functionality.
Oh, fantastic. So definitely a lot of resources for everybody to check out. You have the community, you have the Roadmap Explorer, you have open SAP courses, you have developer tutorials to get started. And I have time for one last question. And then we're just at the time. So Fei, I will send this one to you. The last question: are the native ML capabilities of HANA, which is at the heart of many SAP applications, considered to be part of AI Factory, or would the tech stack be mainly the AI foundation as shown in the slide?
Great question. Today we have only great questions, right? This is totally agree with you that the native machine learning capabilities of HANA will be part of the AI Factory, and also belong to our plan into the AI Foundation, right? AI Foundation will build the AI APIs to all the available AI content, not only within SAP, of course, within SAP, and also even in our ecosystem of our partners. Yes, definitely. Yes.
All right. And believe it or not, we've hit all the questions so far. Again, folks, we will be putting a recap into the community for you. So if you missed the answer when it was read out, or if it was answered written, you will be able to catch that along with the recording. The recording will also, of course, have all the slides, everything else in there as well. So you should be able to have everything you need. Simona, thank you so much for joining us today and the live demos. And Fei, thank you for taking the time and helping everybody understand a little bit more about SAP's AI strategy.
Thanks a lot, Craig, and you are a really wonderful host here. I want, if you allow me, to launch a challenge, because it was also a question there regarding why this a topic is not more present on the community. What I'm working right now, I already started a couple of blogs in this area, and I will put them together under the flag and signature Intelligent Enterprise for SME, and I will really wait for the community to comment there and to provide additional ideas. Where can we use AI in business? How can we improve our ERP and our application by using AI? Obviously, we are doing our best to read the minds of our customer, but if our customer will come and say us either more input about what they need, it will be far more helpful. So that is the challenge for you in there.
That sounds like a wonderful challenge for the community. I think we should actually make a contest around that and actually even do a giveaway. So why don't we touch base on that? We'll set that up and we'll throw that challenge out there to the community themselves.
Thank you.
All right, Fei, any final words from your side?
Yeah, thank you, Craig. It's a really pleasant event. And also Simona, thank you for the demo and the great work. And I like also your idea, your proposal. I think like our AI strategy, right? It must be driven by the customer needs and the impact for the customer, our intelligent applications, right? I support it totally. Looking forward to working with you in the AI community. Yeah.
Thank
All
you.
right, folks.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. Watch out on the community for the replay. Thank you again. Thank you to my great guests for showing and sharing all this wonderful knowledge with us. And folks, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.